Thank you very much for joining, everybody. My name is Emma and I'm the Talent Acquisition Advisor here at Xperience, so I look after the recruitment for the business. As you can see, I'm joined by lots of faces on the screen today. So I'm joined by Martina, who's our Learning and Development Advisor, also in the People team, and Martina and I will be presenting the slides to you today. And then we are lucky enough to have three of our graduates on the call as well. So we've got Dan, Michael and Hasnain, who actually went through the recruitment process this time last year and joined the business in October. So they have been in your shoes and joined the business very recently. So we have got Q&A session with them in the second half of the webinar as well. So thank you very much for taking the time out to come and hear from us today. We've got lots and lots to cover in the next hour, so we'll try to keep on track with time and answer any questions that you might have. Just to say, if you want to put any questions to us in the chat function as we go along, please do use that function as we go. And then we'll pick up towards the second half of the webinar. So what have we got in store for the next hour? So towards the end of this session, you will have a much better understanding of the company's history and our vision. We'll also go over our pillars, our products and our services, so you know exactly what the business offers. We're going to tell you all about our value and our culture, so why we think we're a great place to work and what we have in store if you were to join us. The Xperience Academy programme, so this is our early careers programme for our graduates and our trainees. So Martina will talk to you in a little bit more detail about what the programme covers. You'll also get to hear from our three graduates that are online today. So please do pop any questions you might have in the chat function as we go. We'll also talk to you about our rewards and benefits package. So again, you'd know exactly what was on offer if you were to come and join the company. And then I have got some top tips for how to create a CV, for making your applications, and also interview and online assessment centre hints and tips as well. So if you've never done an assessment centre before, again, we can talk to you about what that includes so you know what to expect. So to kick off, a little bit about the company and where are we based. So bringing up the map here, Lisbon in Northern Ireland is just outside Belfast, and that was actually where the company originated. And then we've got three offices over in the east of England. So I've got a little cluster around Peterborough, St Neots and Bury St Edmunds. And then we've got a tiny one up in Glasgow for a few workers up there as well. So we've got 180 employees at the moment, and we're looking after 1,500 clients. That is growing all the time. So who are we as a business? So if you haven't come across or not very familiar with Xperience before, we are a company that provides digital transformation across cybersecurity, cloud and managed IT, ERP and CRM software solutions. So what that really means is that we go in and help other businesses with their IT requirements, whether that's offering them software to make them more efficient, or whether we might manage their in-house IT, their cloud-based storage. So we provide all of these different IT solutions to other businesses to help them be more efficient. And looking back to where the company's come from, so as you can see, we started in 1969. We were actually very different back then to how we are as a company now. So we originated in the healthcare sector. So Xperience provided the IT equipment to process blood test results much quicker for healthcare. And then you can see on the timeline, we have dabbled in lots of different areas across the years, really trying to find our identity and where we sit in the market. So the first 30 to 40 years of the business was finding that identity. In 1984, for example, Xperience built the first test alarm system for the DeLorean sports car. And we were also one of the first authorised resellers of the Apple I computers in the UK. We've also had a couple of rebrands across the years. So as we've grown through acquisition, we've acquired different businesses. So you might see different names of companies as well. But looking a little bit more recently, we are now coming into the early sort of 2000s where the cloud technology really exploded. And in 2004, we started hosting our own cloud platform. And DMC, this is our Peterborough office, was acquired in 2012. And we actually started to see a gap in the market in the construction industry. So we developed our own customised piece of software for ERP for the construction industry. Although more widely, we support all different industries. And then coming up much more recently, we had a couple of acquisitions. So that's where we bought other similar businesses to help our growth strategy, which we are going to talk to you about. The first acquisition was a company called Green Duck in Bury St Edmunds in 2021, and that was followed by the acquisition of Riverlight in 2022 in St Neots. So we are continuing that growth plan, as we'd like to be the leading managed service provider in the east of England, and we need to keep growing to bring that vision to life. So the vision itself is to achieve a £40 million turnover by 2025. So that is a very ambitious goal, as we're 2023 already. So we're looking to double our turnover in the next 2 years, and be a catalyst for small, medium-sized enterprises across the UK and Ireland to grow through digital transformation. So how are we going to get to this high turnover level? Well, I will hand over now for a couple of slides to Martina.
Thank you, Emma. So in what way we are going to reach 40 million by 2025? We are working in 2 different ways, developing our organic and our inorganic growth. When we talk about organic growth, is all about leveraging on the relationship that we already have with our customer base, but also acquiring new customers and increasing our revenue. At the same time, as Emma mentioned, we are also developing our inorganic growth. So our strategy of acquiring complementary businesses, like happened in the last couple of years, for example, acquiring Green Duck and Riverlight. And back to you, Emma.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much. So we're not going to get too technical at this point, but I think it's important to give you an idea of the different pillars that the business has. So we've got 4 main pillars, as you can see up on screen. We're almost in 2 halves of the business. So we've got our cybersecurity and our cloud and IT services. And then we've got our business application side of the business for our ERP or CRM products. So in terms of cybersecurity, to start with that particular team are based from Bury St Edmunds currently. And we may do things like ethical hacking for our customers to identify gaps in their systems, and then we would offer the services to help protect their businesses. With cloud and IT services, perhaps smaller businesses might not have IT experts in-house, and they would pay us to manage their IT services, from managing their hardware, laptops, printers, network or cloud storage as well. We've then got the business application side of the business. So ERP is enterprise resource planning, and this is usually used by financing teams. So this might be for their invoicing, their pricing, things like that, managing their payroll. And then we've got CRM, which is Customer Relationship Manager, and this is designed to help other businesses manage their customer relationships and potential customers as well. So different types of technology to help other businesses be more efficient. And there's lots and lots of partners that we're currently partnered up with, because we have such a wide range of services and products. We are a gold level partner for Microsoft, and this partnership is a sign of trust and endorsement from Microsoft itself. So that's a little bit about kind of the services that we deliver, but I'm going to hand over to Martina now to talk about the roles. And just to reassure you that although we're a tech company, we've got lots and lots of non-technical roles as well. Our 3 graduates, for example, today are all in business support roles, so non-technical as well. So Martina's going to run through them now.
Thank you, Emma. So our company is growing a lot. In the last year, we almost doubled our employee population, and our headcount grew by 42%. And a lot of new faces and a lot of new roles. We are an IT company, but we can talk about 6 different pillars. So we don't have only IT roles, but we have commercial roles, finance roles, and more. So I will get you through the most important points, starting with the commercial pillar. We have obviously our colleagues that work to create new relationship with new customers. Then we have account management roles, and also our marketing team that is extremely active on our digital channels. At the end of the presentation, Emma will share with you all our channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can follow us. Then we have our finance team. We have our managed services team. So you see there some acronyms, NOC, SOC. So NOC stands for Network Operations Center, while SOC stands for Security Operations Center. And we have also a team based in England that works on cybersecurity as well, and penetration tests, for example. And we have our business applications pillar. business application, basically everything that can help our customers making their daily operations easier, like for example, payroll. Some applications are CRM, so customer relationship management. Others are ERP, enterprise resource planning. Then we have cloud and infrastructure. And last but not least, we have our people team. Emma and I are in the people team. So we have recruitment, we have well-being and learning and development and more. So everything to support our employees in their well-being and development. And back to you, Emma.
Okay, thanks, Martina. So yeah, what a wide range of roles we've got. And that brings us on to the company values. So my advice is when you're looking for any company or any job that you might want to take, try to have a look at their company values and see if they match and align with your own. So you can really find somewhere that you want to work and be happy. So we've got 4 core values. The first one is integrity. So customer service is at the core of our business. Our clients are our top priority, and making sure we retain our clients, that they will recommend us to others. And trust and integrity is at the very, very core of that relationship. We've then got collaboration. So as you saw on the first slide, we are a geographically dispersed organisation, whereby we're not all working together in one place, but collaboration is really, really important to us. So we are still very much one team here at Xperience, all working to one goal, and we want to help each other share our knowledge in the company. We've then got success. So this is about creating a happy and supportive working environment for our people. And we really want to encourage learning and development, so we can see people progress in their careers with us. And we want to retain and develop our very top talent. And finally, ambition. And this really comes back to the growth plans for the company. We're an ambitious company that wants to be the leading managed service provider in the East of England. And so we need ambitious people to help us do that. So what about our culture? So there's lots of pictures up on screen here, again, just to try and bring the company to life for you a little bit. So obviously post-pandemic, we were really keen to connect with each other and our teams in person again. This is really, really important for us. So there's some photos to give you a bit of a flavour for the types of activities that we organise as a people team. So for example, we had the Reboot Your Wellbeing Day back in July last year, and that was to celebrate our offices all being refurbished and reopened after the pandemic. So we had talks and activities on health and wellbeing. So all our offices have got all the same sort of setup, same theme, and are really great places now to be. We also had the Guide Dogs UK come in for our de-stress day back in October. So again, all our offices had the Guide Dogs come in, and we raised some money for charity. We also did a charity bake-off for our chosen charity, Special Effect. And this charity supports people with physical disabilities through gaming. So that's our chosen charity. We also had Northern Ireland Chest, Heart and Stroke come into our Lisbon office in December for some free health checks for our employees. So there's lots of different things that we organise for our employees. And Martina's going to talk you through now in a bit more detail about the health and wellbeing and engagement strategy.
Thank you, Emma. Our senior leadership team and our people team really care about the satisfaction and well-being of our employees. And every quarter we run a satisfaction and engagement survey, and we use a system called Cult Ramp. Here in the slide, you have some of the most recent results, and we can see that 87% of our employee population was satisfied about the flexible working agreement and the work-life balance in terms of time off and also the appropriate facilities. And 91% of our employees were satisfied of the social components, so the interactions within their team and with the other departments. So for us, it's really important to understand what really matters for our employees. And recently we ran also a benefit survey to understand what our employees would like in terms of rewards and benefits. And every year we update and try to renew the total reward package that we offer to our employees. And in the next slide, we are going to see what we offer at the moment. A really generous annual leave entitlement, 30 days of annual leave plus 8 days of bank holidays plus 1 day off for your birthday. Then a generous pension plan, which is a shared contribution between employee and employer, and the employer contributes 3% of your annual income. We have a 24/7 employee assistance program that supports our employees' mental health. And we have, among the different things, also an interesting IT purchase scheme. Basically, our employees can take advantage of the discounts that we get from our suppliers, and they can purchase up to £1,500 of personal tech items, like, for example, laptop or tablets. And Xperience is going to pay in advance on their behalf, and the employee can spread out the repayments over 6 months with no fees nor interest added. So this is an additional proof of how we want to support our employees, not only in their working environment, but also outside work, making sure that they are comfortable and that they have all the tools they need also outside work. Here we can see how much we worked towards health and well-being during 2022, and we have a full agenda also for 2023, both in terms of well-being and diversity and inclusion. We take an holistic approach towards well-being. So well-being for us is physical, mental, and financial well-being. So we had financial advisors coming to our different locations. Then we had as well free flu vaccinations, and we trained our first aiders and also our mental health first aiders, and more to come this year. And now is the time to talk about the Academy program. And we will have also our lovely graduates that we are gonna hear soon. So what is the Academy program? Is a 12-month development program that supports graduates and trainees. And every month or every 6 weeks, we develop and facilitate different activities, different seminars on a variety of topics. For example, from resilience, from presentation and communication skills, learning styles, all activities that support our graduates and trainees to develop valuable and transferable skills that are applicable not only within Xperience, but also in their general professional and personal life. And if the graduates and trainees meet all the goals and milestones that were agreed beforehand, they are going to secure a stable and full-time job within Xperience at the end of the 12 months. So this potentially is a really life-change opportunity, and Emma is going to share more in the next slides. Back to you, Emma.
Thank you so much, Martina. Absolutely. So just a quick reminder as well, if you've got any questions on anything we've covered so far, please pop those in the chat function for us in just a moment. But I'm now going to bring us on to the current vacancies that we've got for October 2023. And just say if we haven't got the right role for you at the moment, we are a growing business very, very quickly. So we are always getting new roles. So there might be something in the future as well. So the current vacancies which we're looking for to join the company in October are across account management. So on the call today, we've got Michael, who's one of our client account managers. So if you've got any questions about his role, we've also got Hasnain, who's in our finance team, and then we've got Dan from marketing. So we're actually really well represented on the call today if you've got any questions about their roles specifically. We are then also looking for a graduate functional consultant. So this role is really about scoping out projects for clients and then putting in place the digital transformation for them. So another ideal opportunity for a business graduate. We are looking for someone to come and join the people team. So a good shout out for that role in particular. And then we're also looking for some trainees to join the company both across our managed IT and our business application side. So all vacancies are open until Friday the 10th of March. So if you're on the call today and looking to apply for one of these, just to reassure you've got plenty of time to do your research and put your application together. So there's no need to rush. There is plenty of time for you to prepare a really good application. You'll also notice that the salaries are slightly higher for the graduates than they are the trainees. But again, if you're looking to get a career in IT, the trainees are a really, really good way to gain the hands-on experience that you might have theoretical knowledge from school or university. And this will give you the client-facing exposure, and you'll also get the opportunity to gain Microsoft accreditations, such as your Microsoft 365 Foundation, your ITIL certificates and things like that. So there are training and opportunities for everybody that joins the business. We also probably need to mention about right to work. So Xperience don't hold a sponsorship license, unfortunately. But if you have got the right to work, whether that's when you're graduating, you're getting a 2-year graduate visa, we can certainly employ you on that basis for the duration of your right to work. Just can't sponsor visas at the end of that. So top tips on the recruitment process. So if you did want to apply for one of these positions, you'll need to apply by the closing date online with an online application with your CV. And answer some short questions about your motivations for applying for the role. There's also an option to add a cover letter. So if you want to take the time to add that, please do so. It can really make your application stand out. We will then review all the applications that come into us and shortlist the top candidates to go forward to an online assessment centre. So this is an opportunity for you to really come online and show us what you can do. So you will get an insight into us as a company. There'll be somebody from the senior leadership team to give you an overview again of the vision and the strategy for the company. There'll be then a number of assessors, which will be either hiring managers or people from the HR team itself. And then you'll also meet with other candidates. It's important to say that we're assessing transferable skills here, so maybe your communication, your team working, your commercial awareness. And you might be on this session with people going up for different roles to you. So it's really important that you just focus on doing the best that you can do and not worrying too much about who else is on that call. It's not a case that only so many people from that session can go forward. So just really bring your best to that session. After that, if you're successful, we'll invite you to a final stage interview, and this is much more role specific with the hiring manager for that particular position, and you'll get to then ask questions about the role, about the day-to-day, and what you can expect from that particular role. And then finally, if you're successful, we will hopefully be able to make you an offer for this role, and we'll very much keep in touch with you between the offer being made and you starting in the business in October. So if you're studying at the moment, again, there's plenty of time for you to finish your degree and graduate and have a summer holiday before you join the business. Equally, if you've already graduated, that's absolutely fine too. And the start date will just remain as October for everybody. So lots to take in there, I'm sure, but we're now going to go to the Q&A. So what we'll do is if anybody's got any questions on anything we've covered, whether that's the recruitment process and you want to ask our graduates how they found the process and any tips that they've got, anything about their roles specifically, please just pop them in the chat function. To kick things off, because I know it might take a minute for people to pop those questions in, I will fire a couple of questions out just to get us started, and then we'll have a look at that chat function. So I think as we've just covered off the recruitment process, that's probably a good place to start. So what was your experience of the recruitment process? So yeah, over to our graduates.
So the process was smooth. It started off with a phone call from Emma, just getting to know me and asking me a few questions about why I was interested in the role and stuff like that. From here, I was then invited to an online assessment centre, which is where you and other candidates are given tasks to perform in front of an assessment board, which is made up of some of the senior management team. From here, I then went on to an interview with my line manager. And the final stage 4, is the phone call, whether you've got the job or not. And thankfully I did. So yeah, all good.
Thanks, Dan. anything anyone wants to add on that? Michael, I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute. Yeah.
I am. I was just saying the assessment centre stage it's quite relaxed, so it is. It's just about being yourself. We got to work in groups together on a couple of different tasks, so it was quite enjoyable. So it was, and then that final stage interview, I'd say there's a bit more preparation for it, sort of having a bit of an idea about your role, and a couple of questions you maybe want to ask just at the end to the hiring manager who's on that interview.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, for me, the assessment centre was quite relaxed as well. And it was my first assessment centre that I've been to. So going in, I thought it'd be really stressful and be on the ball, but it was very relaxed. So you could really be yourself there. So I found that was a really good plus for me as well. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. I'm glad to hear it wasn't too stressful as well. We certainly don't want it to be, so that's good. Okay, what would you say is the most or the best thing about working for Xperience? So yeah, anyone wants to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess it's the working pattern, the hybrid pattern. So I'm working from Mondays and Tuesdays in the office, and then Wednesdays to Fridays at home. I think that's a really good balance for me. So if you're someone who likes best of both worlds, it's definitely a good role. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The hybrid working is really flexible. Just provides you with you can go to different offices, for example, or if you can crack on at home. So yeah, hybrid working for me.
Yeah, for me, it's probably been, I'm from a business management background at university. So whenever I joined the company, I didn't have any massive knowledge on the IT sector, but the amount of learning and opportunities you get to learn off some really experienced employees that also work here, it's a really great opportunity to sort of kickstart your career. So that would be mine.
Amazing, thank you very much. Is there any advice that you would give? So is there any advice you wish you'd received this time last year for applying to Xperience or for a graduate role? So any advice or top tips?
Do your research before the interview, just so you're in like the best place possible for questions. I did loads of research for mine, and I still got stumped with a question. I think Christina asked me what I'd improve about our marketing, and that completely threw me off. So I was like, oh wow. But I managed to come up with an answer. So yeah, just sort of I always just go through like general interview questions and stuff like that, and then obviously look into the company as well, so you know how to apply it.
Yeah, I think there can be a bit of a tendency when you're finishing university to just apply for as many graduate roles as possible just to try and get something secured. But it would take some time to research the companies and research different roles to know what you really want to do and make sure that it's a good company that you're going to work for. At Xperience here, like there's massive opportunities, as Emma and Martina have touched on. We're growing, and with that, gives you the chance to progress your career as well. So I would just say definitely look out for that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say going in, don't be nervous. Do a bit of mental rehearsal before you interview, and especially your assessment centre as well. That really goes a long way.
Absolutely. And actually what you said there about all do your research and prepare maybe some examples of what I would say, and I'll give you some top tips in a minute, but we're always going to be looking for those transferable skills. So times when you've worked with other people, worked as part of a team, maybe when you've led a group or had to do some problem solving. So you can certainly prepare some examples before an interview and then just make sure you adapt your answers to the specific question you're being asked. But preparation is definitely key. Okay, so I haven't got any more questions in the chat function, but if anyone has got any, please again feel free to pop those in there. I think the last one from me then, it might just be about your roles. So obviously we're recruiting for similar roles to all of you at the moment. So is there anything you particularly enjoy most about your job role specifically? What would you say the top skill is that you need to be good at your job?
So for me, with like content creation, you have to be sort of creative and come up with topics that are relevant to the people that are going to be seeing them. So that involves doing loads of research into each pillar. I say pillar, that's each area of the business. So yeah, content creation and being quite personable, because you have to talk to a lot of people in marketing. So these are good skills to have, definitely.
Yeah, shall I go next?
Go on ahead, Hasnian.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, in my job role, I guess is having the problem solving skill and just using your initiative, pretty much. So whereas with Dan, you got the more creative side. With mine, it's more the problem solving. So with the credit control, dealing with all those customers, etc.
So I'm in the account management team, and I would say the biggest thing is probably your ability to deal with customers and build relationships. You're constantly on the phone, sort of renewing contracts, and a lot of firefighting with customers that are having IT issues. So it's being confident to speak with customers, and then also having sort of that bit of motivation to work towards targets as well. There's still a selling element in account management, so having that bit of drive and being a bit of a self-starter, I would say, helps a lot.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And just to let everybody on the call know that, again, we've got case studies from all of our graduates and some previous graduates as well from our 2019 group. So if you want to have a look at the careers website, there's case studies, blogs, videos and things on there as well. So if you're not maybe sure what a role entails, again, you can have a look at those case studies and hopefully just bring it to life a little bit more for you. We have got a question in the chat function here from Hannah. So what kind of tasks do you do during the assessment centre? That is a good question, and I don't want to give too much away, but we will certainly do an icebreaker activity, and this activity is not scored. So when you join the call after meeting with someone from the senior leadership team, we'll just do an informal activity to get everyone relaxed in the environment and getting to know each other that's on the call. And then we will have an activity where you will work in smaller groups, which will involve making some decisions. So you'll work independently to make a decision about something, and then you'll come together as a group to talk through who's decided what, maybe influence each other, and bring people around to your way of thinking. So a bit of a group task on decision making, prioritisation, things like that. And then we've got a really customer focused activity as well. So this is your opportunity, if you've done lots of research on the business and you understand what we do as a company and customer focus, again, you'll do really well in that activity. But I don't want to give you too many details about what it entails, but I can promise everything is revealed on the session. We give everybody plenty of time to read and digest the activity briefs and ask any questions. So we make sure everybody's very well prepared on that session. And like everyone said, hopefully it's an enjoyable session for you. We're not there to catch you out. We really want you to do well and to take something away from the session as well. Just see if anyone else popping anything in the chat there. See if that one pops in a minute. Okay, so that is probably where we'll press pause on the Q&A, but we have got more time available at the end of the session if anyone has got anything else they wanted to ask to any of our graduates or to myself and Martina. But I will press forward with a couple more of the slides and then we can come back to more questions. So CV hints and tips from me. So the first one, which we've covered, is definitely research the company that you're applying for. I'd say throughout your career, definitely keep your CV up to date throughout. It makes it a lot easier when you come to apply for jobs. You want to put your most current or recent experience at the top, and then it works backwards for your older experience, so to speak. Make sure you've got your qualifications on there, so it's easy to pick out the key information. As I said earlier, you can submit an optional cover letter. It's not compulsory, but if you wanted to elaborate further on your CV and give examples of when you demonstrated the different skills and show that research of the company, a cover letter can be a really nice touch just to show you you've gone above and beyond and put in the time and effort. I also say keep some white space on your CV, so don't try to cram it so full that it's really, really hard to read. Recruiters have only just a couple of minutes to read each CV, so we want to be able to pick out the key and relevant information as quickly and easily as possible. So make sure that you've got your key dates or your key employments and job titles and things in bold, use bullet points, and make it really, really easy for somebody else to read. Make sure your contact details are on your CV and your application so we can get in touch with you. The worst thing would be if you shortlist and we can't reach you, so keep your contact details up to date and perhaps keep an eye out for an unknown number calling you as well. Often we can't get hold of candidates and they don't recognise the number. So if you've applied for a job, try to keep an eye on your phone and emails. On every job profile, there'll be a person specification. So this is where we will share the essential and the desirable criteria for a role. The essential criteria, this is what we have to have for the person to meet to be able to do the job, whereas the desirable criteria are used for shortlisting if we get a really, really high volume of applications, and they're the more nice to have. So just to reassure you, if you don't meet all of the essential and desirable criteria, don't be put off from applying. If you meet those essential requirements, then definitely it's worth applying. I recommend you just take some time before submitting your application to make sure you're happy with it and that there's no mistakes, and maybe get somebody just to proofread it for us. We all make mistakes, especially when we've written things ourselves, so just get somebody else to take a quick proofread. If you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, again, it'd be a really good place to start developing your own professional network so you can connect with employers. Particularly our marketing team share what we're up to as a company, as a business, the activities that we're getting up to. So not only can you use this to apply for jobs, it's certainly where I post all of our current vacancies, but you can really get a feel for the company that you're looking at as well. And again, if you haven't heard of Glassdoor, Glassdoor is basically the TripAdvisor for employers. So if you want to find out a little bit more about what our employees say about the business, current or ex-employees, you can get a really good idea of company reviews on there as well. Okay, so interview or assessment centre hints and tips. So as we've already said, most important is to be yourself. We really do need a wide range of people with lots of different skills and experience. So be yourself. We really do want you to bring the true self. Make sure you take some time to prepare. And interviews and assessment centres should very much be a two-way process. So they're also an opportunity for you to ask the employer questions. So I would say before an interview, jot some questions down that you might have before coming along, and then they might also generate questions throughout the interview. Don't be afraid to ask. You have to see if you actually want to work for a particular company as well. Have a look at the job description again. So it might be quite some time between when you apply to when you have that interview. I would always send out the job description along with an interview invite. So make sure you refresh yourself on all the competencies that we're looking for, so you can come up with some examples beforehand. Nowadays, a lot of what we do is virtual interviewing, so it might be online on Microsoft Teams, just like this, but try to treat it just as any other interview you would in person, and make sure that you're professional. So I would say check that your technology is working, that everything is charged up beforehand. Make sure you've got your camera and your sound settings, because we do want this to be a two-way process where we can actually engage with you. And I'd also say try to find a quiet space, so somewhere where you won't be interrupted, so that you can really focus on that interview. And if you haven't heard of the STAR technique, again, I would recommend just popping this into Google. It'll bring up lots of information, but this is where when you're asked to describe a time when you've shown a particular competency, what we'd like you to do is describe the situation to us, talk about what task was at hand, tell us the action that you took. So if you were working as part of a group, really focus on what you did rather than what the group did. So try to use the word I did rather than we did. And we want to know what contribution you made. And then the result, try to think about what you learned from the situation you're telling us about, whether it had a good outcome or a bad outcome. What did you learn? What were your reflections? And what would you do differently in the future? It's a really good way to structure your answers with that model. In terms of the assessment centre, as I said earlier, there will be candidates from all different roles. So don't feel that you're competing against the person next to you at all. Just try and do your very best. Don't dwell on any mistakes. So there are multiple activities. So if you don't feel that you did well in one activity, don't dwell on it. Just move on to the next activity and give it your best shot. Try to draw other people into group discussions. So look out for other people and make sure everyone's voice is being heard. And also make sure that you understand the requirements of what you're being asked. So have a read of the brief, take some time to jot some notes down. So make sure you come to that assessment centre with pen and paper. And if you're not sure about something, just ask. We'd rather that you ask and then you're clear on what we'd like you to do, so that you've got the very best opportunity to do well. And just be yourself. So with all that said, we do understand that interviews and assessment centres can be really nerve-wracking. So Martina's got some more practical tips now on sort of self-care and how to prepare for these sorts of activities.
Thank you, Emma. So yeah, preparation is the key for the assessment center, for the interviews, but we really want you to join us in the best mental and emotional state possible. So here we are going to share some tips that hopefully will be helpful for you. Make sure that the day before and on the day you are recharged enough. So take plenty of sleep the day before, have food and drink plenty of water. When you study in preparation for the interview, make sure that you take some breaks and ideally take a walk outside so you can regenerate and recharge your energy. According to what best works for you, use breathing techniques, relaxation, yoga, podcast, music, whatever can support you transitioning to the best mental state possible. In terms of dress code, we have a business casual dress code. So dress to impress, but at the same time, make sure that you pick also an outfit that makes you feel comfortable. Again, we want you to bring your true self. We want you to be confident, comfortable, and at ease. If you feel that you are not super confident on the day, it's fine. Some suggestion is, for example, to practice positive affirmation or power poses in front of the mirror and choose your favorite song to boost your energy and your confidence. And bring always some water in case of dry mouth. And back to you, Emma.
Fantastic, thank you very much. So that is drawing to the end of our slides for you this afternoon. I've put up on the screen here all our social media channels. So again, you can either connect with us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I would say have a look at our website as well for those employee case studies. You can just scan the QR code now, and that will also have all of our active vacancies for you to read the full job description and make an application. If you have got any questions at all, though, about any particular role, again, the recruitment email address is on those adverts. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us before the closing date if you've got any questions before applying or want to have an informal chat about any of the roles. We would love to receive applications from you, and hopefully we've given you lots of tips from today to set you up for success. So if anybody's got any final questions, again, we'll stay online for the next couple of minutes, so plenty of time for you to pop questions in the chat function to us. But just want to say thank you for attending today, whether you're looking for a role for this October or perhaps in the future if you're a first or second year of university, perhaps. Do keep us in mind going forward as we're growing organisations. So we've always got new roles coming up at all times. So I'll leave that QR code up on the screen. I'll stop the recording for now, but if anyone's got any more questions, just pop them in the chat function. We'll stick around for a few more minutes. All right, thank you very much.